Hello all, and welcome to the 2025 season. This is the first of our 3 training modules, and we'll be covering a lot of general information that we hope will be helpful to you throughout the season. There are 2 email addresses that are important to know. For general questions, please use njpahockey@gmail.com. If you have any ethical issues or unsportsmanlike conduct to report, whether it's from officials, spectators, coaches, or anyone else, you can use njpahockey.ethics@gmail.com to let us know about the issues that need to be addressed. Our website is also a vital resource. The URL is a bit long, so the easiest way to find it is to simply Google NJPA Hockey, and we are almost always the first result. The website is where you can find town coordinators and coaches, as well as many other useful items for coaches, umpires, and even spectators. Whether you are a town coordinator, a coach, or an umpire, you are responsible for being familiar with all of the sections of the rulebook as they apply to the divisions you are involved with. Umpires and coaches especially, you should have a printed copy of the rulebook with you on game day. Additionally, the current rulebooks are posted on the website. Having access to the rulebook is essential for resolving disagreements on the field. Conflicts will arise on the field during the season from time to time. It's surprising how often a coach thinks a rule means one thing, while another interprets it differently, and unfortunately, often neither coach nor the umpires have a rulebook handy or consider checking the website for clarification. Rulebooks are meant to assist and guide you resolving these tricky situations. Coaches, you are the adults on the sidelines, and you should be modeling good sportsmanship at all times. Please impress upon your players and their families that good sportsmanship starts with the adults. When you model good behavior, the kids will follow. Our league is about providing an opportunity for kids to learn this great game. While winning is fun, learning and sportsmanship are the primary goals. We want to create lifelong fans of field hockey, not kids who quit because of constant screaming and yelling. Poor sportsmanship has led to towns leaving our league, umpires not returning, and our 5th and 6th grade tournament being downgraded to a play day. We even had to rewrite the rulebook to prevent towns from exploiting loopholes instead of teaching fundamental field hockey. If you have complaints about umpire quality, consider that they may not be sticking around long enough to develop the expertise you're looking for because of the poor behavior all around them. Let's not forget that nearly everyone involved in our games are children. And that includes the umpires. The adults need to behave like adults if we want these children to have a great experience. As long as we're on the topic of umpires, let's talk about evaluating and compensating them. Both teams must split the umpire costs equally for each game. This rule has been in place for several years. The only exceptions are as follows. In the 7-8 division, the $90 cost of the certified umpire is to be split evenly between the 2 teams. The youth associate umpire will be paid by the league, at least for this year. For the younger divisions, if there is only one umpire, that umpire gets $35. However, the home team pays the full share of $25, the away team contributes $10. Besides the fact that this will make it easier to split the cost without singles or coins, we are also hoping that this discourages home teams from only assigning one umpire as a way to save money. Also, coaches from both teams should review each umpire individually every game. Don't review them as a pair. Don't identify them in your review as the blonde and the brunette. We can't help an official if we don't know who needs it. Get their names. If you didn't get their names from the website before you got to the field, ask them in the pregame meeting. Then write them down on the paper score sheets that each team will have at the scorer's table. And umpires, this isn't a one-sided thing. If you have a problem with coaches or parents or fields or facilities or any kind of situation, please report that to the league. It's equally important that we know who's giving problems to you and to try to solve them. Each team is required to appoint and identify one adult sideline ambassador to the umpires before each game. This person should be on the spectator side of the field. If spectators become unruly, the ambassador's responsibility is to walk over to their town's coaching staff to make them aware of the situation. The coach can then elevate it to the other coach or the umpires to try to calm the situation. We do not want an ambassador to interact with the problem spectator directly, as this could create a bigger issue. We'll get a bit more into this in other sections, but here's a cheat sheet on what constitutes a team at each level. Just a couple of quick but important notes about goalkeepers. In the 7-8 and 5-6 divisions, if a team does not have a fully kitted goalkeeper, no player has goalkeeping privileges and no additional field player may be added. In the 2-4 and K1 divisions, defending players must actively defend by marking an attacking player and should not simply stand in front of the goal outside the normal flow of play. Equipment. Let's start with socks. The rules have changed this year in high school, so we're going to change in our league as well. It is now the visiting team that wears the white socks, which allows the home team to wear their colors. Again, the away team wears white socks, the home team wears something with color. So if you're one of these towns that go out and buy funky socks with a lot of colors on them because nobody else has them, that's great. But to avoid conflicts, you should have your team get white socks for away games. The nice part about white socks is that they can always use them. There are no light or dark regulations on jerseys or shirts, but if there is a conflict, the home team should be putting on pennies of a contrasting color. It is your responsibility as the home team to put those pennies on if there's a conflict. Mouth guards may now be of any color or style, just make sure the kids are wearing them. Eye protection. Goggles are allowed, but they are not mandatory for 5-6 or 7-8. They were never mandatory for the 2-4 level. Just be aware that glasses are not goggles. Kids who are out there wearing regular glasses that they would wear to school are risking severe injury if there is contact to their eyewear. Regular glasses shatter and can inflict serious damage to their eyes. Anyone who needs to wear corrective lenses and does not wear contact lenses should be wearing the rec specs with some sort of shatter-resistant lens. Regarding corner masks are recommended for the 2 divisions where the ball may be lifted on a shot, are 5-6 and 7-8 divisions, but they are not required. Please note that if corner masks are worn, they may only be worn within the defensive 25 and must be discarded by any player before that player can exit the zone. Last thing on this slide for equipment, every home team should have a scorer's table and a clock. And please, it should be a clock, not somebody's cell phone that can time out and take a few seconds to restore. Coaches have a lot to manage on their bench, and getting time from the timekeeper should not become a hassle. It is worth emphasizing here that each team must provide a scorekeeper to sit at the table as well. For the home team, this can be the same person as the clock operator. When both teams know and agree on who has scored so far, power down controversies can be avoided. Keep in mind that scorekeepers are game officials, and it is their role, not the umpires, to make sure that everyone agrees on the score, and if necessary, the power down procedures that need to be in place. Goalie equipment. This is the list of goalie equipment. Everything in the mandatory column is mandatory. That includes a neck guard, often forgotten, and a mouth guard, often ignored. For those of you who are saying, but she's wearing a face mask, she doesn't need a mouth guard. The purpose of a mouth guard is not so much about protecting your teeth. It is to provide shock absorption in case your head hits the ground and your teeth slam shut. That is a leading cause of concussions, and that is why a goalie and everyone else on the field needs to wear a mouth guard. So do not ignore this crucial piece of equipment. Arm or elbow pads are optional. An improperly equipped goalie is not a goalie and forfeits all goalie privileges, so make sure your goalie is properly equipped. And if you don't have a goalie on the field who is fully equipped, no player has any goalie privileges. Regarding goalkeepers in the 2-4 division, no player should be told to go play goalie in these younger divisions. They are defenders, they are not goalkeepers. If you are not teaching them to play defense by marking their opponent, you are doing a disservice to their development as a player. In the picture on the left, this lonely child is not doing anything to participate in the play or to prevent a shot from being taken. She's 8 yards away from the action, where 3 attackers are working against 2 defenders. This is not to say that players, defending or attacking, cannot enter the small circle in front of the goal. They certainly can. However, they should only be doing so as part of actively defending or attacking, not camped out waiting to get hit with a ball. And lastly, on this point, while little goalies can be incredibly adorable, no. Each of our divisions plays on a different size field that has been designed specifically to guide the development of each of the age groups. Program coordinators should take care to ensure each of their fields is marked in accordance with the rules. Each town must also ensure that their fields are maintained to provide a safe playing surface. On game day, the home program will drive the final decision in the case of inclement weather based on weather conditions and field playability. The home team is expected to provide benches for both teams, a scorer's table with 2 chairs, a clock to keep the game time, and toilet facilities. Lastly, the home program should assist the umpires in making sure that the 5-yard buffer zone around the field exists and remains intact throughout the game. Umpires and coaches should alert the league if a town has fields that are not proper. Umpires, you should be doing a pregame walk-around, and this is one of the things you should be looking at. Visiting coaches, let us know as well if you see something that doesn't seem right. When referring to the field, let's make sure we're using the proper terminology. 16 yards, 25 yards, or 50 yards, regardless of what the actual physical line distances are for those particular age levels. We really want to encourage the kids to learn the proper terminology so that when they get on a full field in middle school or high school, that's one less thing they need to adjust to. This is another opportunity to remind everyone that the 25 and the 50 are the same line on a 5-6 field. It is very important to recognize that all of the lines on the field are inbounds, or part of the zone they are marking. A ball that is on or touching the sideline is still inbounds. A ball on the 25 is in the attacking zone. A ball on the circle line is inside the circle. A ball on or touching any part of the goal line has not yet scored a goal. Speaking of goals, each goal cage must be positioned behind the goal line, not on it. This is to ensure that there is a line of sight to determine whether the ball has fully crossed the goal line. The placement of the goal cage is a common setup error across our fields. Also, to the umpires, make sure as you're walking around the field that there is a 5-yard buffer between the field and spectators, player benches, the scorer's table, etc. It doesn't have to be marked, it can just be eyeballed. This buffer zone is for player, umpire, and spectator safety. Umpires need to be able to run on the outside of the field to stay out of the way of a sideline play. Players can play the ball with their feet and bodies completely outside the field if the ball itself is still in play. Spectators who get in the way of either of these risk injury to you, the players, or themselves. You'll see in this picture an example of what you may find at any field. The spectators are way too close to the sideline. Throughout this game, there were a number of instances where players and umpires were unable to go where they wanted to because of the crowd. If you don't know what 5 yards is, there are hints on every field. The 2-4 field has a wing lane that's 4 yards wide. The 5-6 field has hash marks, 5 and 10 yards from each goalpost. That's 5 yards apart. The 7-8 field has those same hash marks and the dashed circle 5 yards outside the 16. Use these hints to guide you. Being able to visualize 5 yards comes up quite a lot in field hockey. And please, do not let this happen. The next few slides I'm going to go through quickly. For the 2-4 coaches, you should become very familiar with these slides and use them to help coach your players. They are also available as a separate file on our website for you to have even more handy. Understand that in the 2-4 division, what we're really trying to do is prevent what we've referred to over the years as the soccer swarm, where you've got 12 kids on the field chasing one ball. We don't want that. We want to teach them to be spread out on the field. So while we have these weird lines that don't exist in real field hockey, they are very important to teach the kids to maintain spacing and positioning. The 2-4 level is 6v6. Just remember that inside the 25s, it's 3v3, again to maintain spacing. Let's say it again. There are no goalies in the league, and no defender should ever be positioned in front of the goal unless they happen to be there while they're marking an attacker. Okay, moving on to the wings. Their domain is this yellow area, which is the alley, and the offensive zone. The biggest thing about the wing in this division, and the reason why these alleys exist, is that the wings should be the youngest, the smallest, the weakest player from both teams. And the key is the wing cannot be challenged in the wing alley by any player other than the opposing wing. What does that mean? It means that if a wing has the ball and they're coming down the field in that alley, only the wing from the other team can defend them. A midfielder or defender or anybody else from the other team cannot stick their stick into the alley and try to defend. It does not make any sense to put a rookie second grader against a 4th grade midfielder that has 3 years of experience. So we have the wings in this protected zone. The coach's wing is usually going to be your least experienced player. And the far wing is probably going to be your second least experienced or skilled. Bottom line, the one you need to talk to the most should be on your side of the field. The other can be more independent across the way. Center will probably be one of your more experienced players and gets the entire middle of the field and the attacking zone. Your midfielders are the center of the field and the defending zone. And by and large, your defensive back is going to stay on their half of the field. In the 2-4 division, we do have a couple of positioning exceptions. If there's a side in between the 25s, a midfielder or defender may enter the wing alley, solely for the purpose of restarting the play with a pass. So what do we mean by that? We want to teach good field hockey. We have a lot of rules to protect the kids, but we also want to teach good fundamentals. The right play for a forward is to get up the field on a restart. So rather than have the wing take the restart and then be out of good field hockey position, a midfielder or defender can come in, send the ball down the lane to the wing, and get the offense started as they would at an older level. The intention is not for that midfielder or defender to self-start by taking the ball out of the lane and dribbling it themselves, nor is the intention for that midfielder or defender to pass it into the middle of the field unless there's really no other option. The intention is to train that forward to get forward, receive a through pass, and begin the offense. The other exception is that if the restart is inside the offensive 25, a fourth attacking player, again typically a midfielder or defender, may go inside the 25 to do the restart. And again, the reason for this is so that everybody gets into the right position. We're 3v3 inside the 25, so we don't want to put the offense at a disadvantage by having one of those 3 players have to restart into a 2v3. So the fourth player can take that restart, can move the ball the 3 yards, which is the 2-4 version of a 5-yard dribbling distance, and send the ball into the circle. Once this fourth player makes that pass, though, that player has got to get out of the area below the 25. And as you also see here, that player cannot, under any circumstances, enter the circle. Thank you for listening to Module 1. Good luck on the test!